This is the Student Leadership News Podcast.
Welcome to this episode of the Student Leadership News Podcast. I'm Cameron.
I'm Ronan.
And today we are on the road to Mildura.
On the road to Mildura. This drive is going to be 6 hours today. We're about an hour and a half in planning this episode of the podcast. We thought we spent a lot of time on the road running student leadership events. We may as well film one episode of the podcast on the road. So Here we are. Hopefully, if you're watching the video version, you can see us in the car behind the wheel. And we're paying attention to the road, but we are also paying attention to producing a wonderful episode of the podcast.
We are. Now, we have produced a quite a weird kind of contraption for capturing this. So we encourage you, at least go across to Facebook. We'll upload a photo of what it kind of looks like. Ronan, this thing that we've made is 90% duct tape.
Yeah, people would never know that, Cameron. They would think that this is amazing technology, but we have cameras balanced on top of things in the front seat. We get there anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, we've got a great episode of the podcast installed for you. So let's jump straight into our first segment, and that is Tour Tales.
Tour Tales.
Okay, Tour Tales, the adventures we get up to on the road from country towns, in between cities, running the student leadership conferences that we do. Cam, I would like you to tell our podcast listening and watching audience about what I heard took place last night at like 11 p.m. when most of the team were fast asleep in various motel rooms around the place. And you told me that all of a sudden it was back in action for you and your roommate. Tell us more.
It was 11 o'clock, and kind of the evening had wound down.
Yep.
And I was getting ready to go to bed myself. I was tired. I was ready to get some sleep. And roommate Caleb always features in these crazy stories.
Comes up a fair bit, old Caleb. Anyway, yep.
He was chilled and in bed. Looked like he was just reading a book, if I remember correctly. And he suddenly jumped up, and it gave me a fright. And he said, "Cam, you would never believe it." And I was like, "Well, I don't believe it. You're like crazy all of a sudden at 11 o'clock at night. Like whatever you say, I'm not going to believe." And he said, "We are going to Macca's right now." And I said, "Caleb, there is no way that we are going to Macca's at 11 o'clock at night."
11 o'clock at night, you're in a country motel,
yeah.
And he's just convinced that you've got to jump out of bed and go to Macca's.
I didn't even think there would be a Macca's close by.
Yep.
He said, "No, we are going to Macca's. Even if it's like 30 kilometers away, we are going to this Macca's." And I said, "What's the big deal?"
Why?
What is the big deal about Macca's? Like, why do you like food so much? No, but he said to me, he's like, "Cam, today is National Burger Day." And I was like, "Well, you've enticed me. Does this mean like free cheeseburgers?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No, better than that." I was like, I don't know, free chicken cheeseburgers? And he's like, "No, even better than that." I was like, free quarter pounder. He's like, "No, Cam, a quarter pounder is good, but this is better." And I was like, "Oh, well, you just got to tell me."
There's only one more on the menu.
He said, "A free Big Mac." And I was like, "No way." And he kind of just forced me to get in the car. It took us about 40 minutes to get our act together. And so Caleb was like trying to figure out if he can place the order on the app, and then calling up the Macca's to see if it's working, and it's saying that it's costing him money but it was free. And so anyways, we get our act together and we jump in the car at 11:52 at night. Yeah.
For the last 8 minutes of National Burger Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we raced to the Macca's, and we got there, and they handed we pulled into the driveway, and we're both like just excited that we're getting these free Big Macs. Not even for the sake of eating them, but for the sake of we've just like gotten free Big Macs.
Right as the clock is about to stroke midnight.
Yeah, it's just an awesome thing. We pull up to the window, and I'm filming this, and Caleb kind of says to the person giving us the burgers, saying like, "Oh, how good is this? Like, can we really just cherish this moment?" And the person
Sounds
in the window
very
like,
significant in your life.
The person in the window is like, yep, and just keeps like kind of forcing the burgers into the car.
Yeah, they've probably been sick of it. They would have handed out free Big Macs all day long.
Yeah, 100%. And so we took the Big Macs, got them home, and we ate them and regretted it.
Midnight Big Macs on National Burger Day.
There's nothing special about a Big Mac that is eaten at midnight, except that last night it was free.
Free on Burger Day. Yes, there you go. Well, you do get up to some random adventures. Then again, yet again, involving food seems to be a common theme there. So,
do love our food.
Anyway, thank you, Cam, sharing with our podcast audience your tour tale for this week. Much appreciated.
Well, let's jump into our next segment. Right, I'm really excited about this one, and it is the best leadership tip.
BLT, best leadership tip.
Yeah, best leadership tip for this episode, Ronan. You've got a pretty exciting tip you wanted to share with me. What is it?
Yeah, it's a straightforward tip, but I'm excited to be able to illustrate this tip live on the podcast, okay? The tip that I want to suggest for student leaders is when you're planning activities that you want to lead at your school, try and keep them as simple as possible. We often hear student leaders talking about extravagant plans. Things are going to take a lot of time, money, and planning, and often they never take place. But we want to suggest that you keep things simple, certainly simple to start with, and often simple is all you need. If you're looking at activities around your school to get students involved in things, to create activity at lunchtime at your school, whatever you're trying to achieve, try and keep it simple. Okay, can I demonstrate it for you, Cam, with a game right now?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, you think about when people are often on long journeys, you're forced to play simple activities,
just
simple
like
games.
us.
Yeah, that's it, pretty simple. Okay, we're on this journey, and I Spy's the old favourite, but we can do better than that, all right?
Okay.
I want to introduce our podcast listening audience to the Clinker Challenge.
Okay.
So, the advantage of watching this on the video version right now is you will see me holding up a packet of Cadbury Clinkers.
Yep, you just pulled them out of nowhere.
They're ready to go. And the Clinkers, they are like a large chocolate bullet, we'll go with that. And on the inside is either a colour green candy or colour yellow or colour pink. It's one of the three. The way that the Clinker Challenge works, Cam, you will have to declare first whether you think you're about to bite into a clinker that is yellow, green or pink. Then you will bite into it and you'll claim the point if you get it correct.
Okay.
Let's do 3 each, see who wins, okay? You go first.
So I've got my clinker.
Yep.
I bite into it.
What do you think it's going to be?
Oh.
You forgot! I said the game had to be simple. You just want an extra clinker. Okay, that means that's not your Okay, so now we actually start. I'm going to claim this one as a green one, okay? Yellow. Okay. Got to finish it. No points to me.
0 out of 1. Yeah,
okay,
well
you go.
Grab a clinker.
Round one, Cameron.
Pink. Yellow again. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Round 2, Ronan. I'm going yellow this time. Pink. Haven't scored.
No. Green. Yellow.
Is anyone going to score in this game? I'm going pink again. Here. My last one. Pink! Yeah!
For the win. Well, for the tie, I guess.
Yeah, if you get this wrong, I win the game.
Green.
What is it?
Yellow.
So...
My third yellow.
Third yellow in a row.
You'd think I would learn and go yellow, but no.
Yep, I deliberately tampered with the pack beforehand. No, so I win 1-0. Excellent. Okay, as simple as that. You can play that for hours. It's probably not good for your sugar intake, but it is certainly a lot of fun. Now, we can play that for a while, but you get the idea. I'm not saying at school that student leaders should go around playing the Clinker Challenge.
That'd be fun.
Maybe you would like to. More the point is try and keep things simple. Allow people to enjoy activities that are simple. They understand it, you can communicate it, and a lot of people are more likely to get involved in things at school that are simple. So there you go. Best leadership tip for this episode is to keep things simple.
And it involves chocolate, so it is always a great leadership tip. Well, Ronan, that was a fun game. I got pink just then, so but I think we should jump into our next segment.
Next segment? Let's do it.
My favourite idea.
Okay, so this segment that we often do, my favourite idea, is a chance for us to share with our podcast audience one of the cool ideas we've heard in discussion or from the workshops that we do with student leaders. Cam, you're going to tell our audience today about something you heard. Was it today?
Yeah, I heard this idea today, and I really liked it. The idea is, Ronan, okay, so these students at this school had found out about an idea called Socktober, which is this a great initiative where people bring in socks and then they donate them to like their community and stuff like
Probably
that.
in October.
Yeah, in October.
Socktober.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Good.
This idea was kind of based off that, but they elaborated on something that they were really passionate about. So at their school, they found they're really passionate about sport. And a lot of the people at their school have a lot of old sport equipment. Like they have a soccer ball one year, then they don't like it anymore, so they get another one. And so they kind of move through this different equipment. And the idea was to have a sport day, but not just any sport day. The idea was that every student brings in their old second-hand equipment, and
so we're talking like tennis rackets in the garage that have been doing nothing,
100%.
Soccer balls, cricket balls, tennis balls. Everyone's got this stuff laying around.
Exactly. All that stuff, they bring it in, and then during that day, the whole day is set aside to play sports with this equipment. So they find what they've got at the beginning of the day, and they say, okay, well, here's the sports we're going to play today. And then at the end of the day, all the second-hand equipment is donated to a charity to then give to children over in Africa, because they had this great idea, give them over in Africa and take this equipment over to them. I really liked it because it was something that they used equipment they no longer needed or wanted, and then they got rid of it. Like it's no longer sitting in their garage.
It's great to think of ways to help other people that don't just involve donating money. So they've thought about that, and they've also thought, I like in that idea, about what students at their school like to be involved in. If they're saying that students at their school like the idea of being involved in sports activities, then they've based it on that. So there you go. That's a pretty cool idea, Cam. Thanks for sharing with us. So that's going to take us to the end of our On the Road podcast.
I guess it's
episode.
A podcast.
I see what you did there. Car, in the car, podcast.
Yeah.
Yep, very good.
I thought roadcast was a little better at first, but I changed it.
Podcast. Yeah. Awesome. So hopefully our podcast audiences enjoy this episode on the road with us. If people listen just in the audio version, it may not feel that different to them. So encouraged to check it out, Facebook, YouTube, on the video sources, or those who are watching on video, perhaps one day check out on an audio source as well.
100%. It's always fun, and let us know, comment below, let us know what you think. If you want to see more of these podcasts on the road.
If you like the podcast, if you like
let us know. Just comment and let us know, so we know what you're watching, listening on, and we'll try to gear it more towards you guys. We always love doing these, and we love it when you guys interact with us. So feel free to keep sending questions in, or suggestions, or things that you want to know more about for these podcasts. We always love hearing from you guys.
Cool. Thanks for joining us, and looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, see you then.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Student Leadership News Podcast. Interact with us on social media and follow the news online at studentleadership.news.